All right. So I'm gonna present my screen and talk to you guys about what you're gonna need to do today. There's some of you guys that need to still finish up your graphic organizer and your rough draft. So if you're one of those people, listen to what I'm talking about now, because you'll have to do this after you finish it. This is the editing part of it, but some of you guys still need to catch up to that part. So over on Google Classroom, I didn't create a new assignment. I just added to your old one, to your narrative rough draft. There was a couple of you guys that had turned it in already, which Jada just turned it in, so I'm going to return it back to you. Because if you don't have it, so yeah, you need to be able to edit it. So I returned it to everybody that had turned it in. Let me go back to assignment then. So don't turn it in until we're all done editing it, because you still need to be able to copy and paste from it. So don't turn it in until tomorrow. But I added a little part to the narrative rough draft that has the rubric, which is what I'm going to grade you on. So once you finish writing your actual rough draft, you'll open up the rubric that's next to it. It's just something that you can view. You can't type on it or anything. But when you look at this rubric, you have three different sections here. The first one over here on the left, these two bigger ones, is the statement of purpose, the focus, and the organization. So basically, the organization of your narrative. If you look on the left side, you have a 1, 2, 3, and 4 grading scale, right? We're grading this out of 4 points, basically. If you have a 1, then you maybe didn't write enough. It doesn't have enough detail, things like that. It's not the greatest. A 2 is kind of better, right? 3 is pretty good, run of the mill, and 4 is an awesome narrative, right? There's different things that get you from a 1 to a 4. You don't focus on your topic. You go all over the place. So if we're looking at the 4s, so I'm going to talk to you guys about what you have to do to get a 4 on your narrative. And if you want to, you can look down below and see what would get you a 2, a 3, or a 1. But you want to focus on what's going to get you a 4, right? The best grade that you can get. So on the first part, the statement of purpose, the focus, it says, I have a setting. So if you have a setting to your story, you'll be able to check that one off. The next one, I have a narrator. So you have one person that is telling the story from their point of view. The next one, I have characters. You have characters in your story. It's not just one, I don't know, more than one character, right? Yeah. If you have one character that's going on this epic adventure alone, that's fine, but you need to have a character, right? The next one is I have a point of view. So you have a point of view, you're writing from one point of view, you don't switch back and forth from unless it's part of your story, to switch between characters, that's fine. But if you're writing from one point of view, you're not talking about I, me, we, and then all of a sudden you're writing about he, her, she, right? You want to make sure you stay in the same point of view. The next one, I maintain these elements throughout the story, so they stay the same. You have a main character that mainly stays the same. If it changes because your story changes, that's fine. But if your story is supposed to stay in the same setting with the same narrator, same point of view, make sure it stays that way. If it does change, make it obvious that it has changed. Don't just suddenly change from one paragraph to the next. Give me a chapter title or something so I know that it went to a different character or whatever if it changes. Does that make sense? Like in a book, when it changes characters, it usually says, yeah, it usually says the name of the character at the front of the chapter or something to give you an idea of whose chapter it is. And the next one, I provide a promise of the story and fulfill it. Basically, you write a story that sounds good, right? Okay. So you'll go through and check box on those things. The next one is the organization of your story. Do you have a beginning, middle, and end that's appropriate to the audience and the purpose? So appropriate to the audience means that you're writing to me, basically. Is the narrator the writer kind of? It's the person who's telling the story. Yeah. And the purpose of your writing for this organization one is to write a narrative, to write a fun story, right? So does your purpose come across? Are you trying to write a fun story? or dark, whatever kind of story you're writing, but does it fulfill the purpose of the prompt that you chose, right? The next one, I have a logical sequence of events from beginning to end. So you're not jumping around from beginning to the end to the middle, back to the beginning, and now I'm at the end again. It follows a logical sequence. I'm not going to be reading your story. Yeah, I'm not going to be reading your story and be like, wait, why are we here now? What just happened? How did we get here, right? So make sure it follows a logical order. It makes sense as the order it goes in. The next one, my events are strongly connected. So how you go from one part of your story to the next makes sense. You're not just like walking your dog and then all of a sudden you're on Mars. That doesn't make sense to me, right? You got to tell me how you got there. It needs to be connected somehow. And the last one, I use a variety of transitional strategies. So transition words like first, next, and then, things like that, right? Or transitional sentences. Something that shows that you're transitioning from one topic to the next. All right? Our next part, elaboration of the narrative. There's only one thing here, but I provide different kinds of details that illustrate my story. So when you're writing a narrative, one of the main things is the details that you give. You want to give lots of details to describe your characters, your setting, what's happening. Are they fighting? If what's happening in the fight, you don't want to just say they fought, right? You want to give more detail and give some context to what's happening. So basically, do you have details in your story? The next one, language and vocabulary. I use strong, specific, and precise words. So your word choice isn't just using the word very over and over again. He was very smart. He was very quick. I am very, I don't know, strong. I don't know, something, right? Use different words. Don't just use the same words over and over again. Try to change and use some better words. Use a thesaurus. Find some different fun adjectives to describe things, right? And the last section of what we're grading on is the conventions. That is your grammar. So your spelling, punctuation, commas, things like that. You have to have at least 80% of those things corrected to get a 4. So you want to go through and make sure those are all corrected as best as possible. Yeah, check your squiggly lines. There's a reason that documents do that. If you get a red squiggly line or a blue squiggly line, it means something's wrong. Yeah, so a red squiggly line means that the word is spelled incorrectly. A blue squiggly line underneath words means that there's some sort of grammar mistake. And usually if you click on it, it'll suggest things to you to fix it, right? So if you see those things on your writing, fix it. Might as well. And so that's what you're doing today. Basically going through fixing up your narrative, and that's your goal for today. If you are one of the people that needs to finish your narrative first, do your rough draft first, and then open up the rubric and go from there. But I attached the rubric directly to that assignment, so you're able to look at that. And again, don't turn it in when you're done, because tomorrow I'm going to give you guys the final draft document where you're going to be able to copy and paste and write your final draft. So don't turn it in until you've finished all of the parts. Any questions? All right. So I don't know what time, but Miss Daphne said that she's going to come in sometime during this hour, in between 8 and 9:30 at some point. And what she's going to do, those of you that are done, she's going to pull you guys and read through your story with you and help you guys make it as best as she can. Okay? Like little writing conferences. And that goes for online too. If some of you guys online are done, but you want a little bit of help.
Do we have to read it to her, or is she gonna read it?
I don't know. Whatever she wants to do. So those of you that are online too, that goes for you guys as well. She's going to be doing conferences. So if you guys, I think she'll bring her computer. We could do like a separate Google Meet with you guys so that she can read through and help you guys out with yours as well, if in the next hour or so. Yeah, so she's just going to help you guys improve your narrative if she can, which she probably can because she's a great teacher. So, yeah. So I don't know what time she'll be in here, but those of you that are done and you feel like you have edited it and made it the best you can, we'll pull you guys over to the side, or maybe it's a different room. I don't know. I might clear this area over here so she can work with you guys. Okay, well, we gotta wait for her to get here first. So, But yeah, that is what we're doing today. I'm going to stop our recording and let you guys get to work.